I know what your next thought is. Who the fuck is Diane Sare?
I asked that too.
Yeah, I do too, come to think of it.
Yeah, like
right.
it's good. Every few years you should just check in, like, who am I? So we're watching this video.
Yes.
Right? And
we recording now?
Yeah. And
start 13 minutes in, because I want to go to the part about how much integrity this woman has.
Okay.
And that's fine, because unlike conspiracy theorists, I don't mind being wrong, because I haven't made my entire personality the 2024 election was definitely not stolen. I value critical thinking, and that means acknowledging my own biases, evaluating the evidence, and going where the evidence points, regardless of what I want to be true.
I don't think we disagree with that, right?
Which part?
Well, that we should always be.
Oh, it was a general?
Yeah.
No, but did she? That's the question.
Well, that's what I want to find out from you. You're the woman who's slandered in this video.
She's the one who has no biases and who examined the evidence.
Right.
So I think she supposedly looked at the court case.
Yeah.
So let's go to the court case, because she said it was only 2 people.
That
the court case, my part of the court case, is about 2 voters.
This lawsuit is in fact alleging that 2 people said that they voted for Sare and did not have their votes counted. 2 people.
That's the other thing. Somehow she went to the lawsuit and didn't realize that I am not a plaintiff in this suit.
Wait, you're not a plaintiff in this? What is that? But your name?
Because I was initially, but I said what I have sworn to, that is that I went door to door and I found all these extra votes, is true. So if you want to take my sworn statements and the affidavits of the voters, and I was a plaintiff as a voter, not as a candidate. If you want to use that as evidence, that's fine. But I am no longer a plaintiff. I'm not involved in this lawsuit as a plaintiff.
Oh.
Merely a witness.
Just, okay. All right. Well, that's also a pretty big deal, too.
Well, I know, but she wasn't able to figure that out with the extensive research that she did.
Right. Okay.
So I just want to go to the documents that are actually available, filed with the Rockland County Supreme Court, that anyone who cared to be a serious investigator would find.
Okay.
So blue is what sworn voter means, is a person who signed a sworn affidavit that they voted for me. There were 7 voters who voted for me, who voted on November 5th. Rockland County allows you to get the vote broken down by who voted election day, who voted early, and who voted absentee.
Okay.
So the Rockland County results were that I had a total of 5 votes in this election district.
Right.
And so me walking around the neighborhood canvassing merely 3% of the voters who voted that day, in a very short time, I found 7 people who were willing to sign sworn affidavits. We won't count the 2 who weren't. Yeah. I had 4 more voters on election day than they said.
That have sworn affidavits.
Right. That's more than 50% error. And voted early. I found 1 of the 2 they admit, but I only talked to 3% of the people who voted. I also only interviewed people who were not affiliated with the Democrat or Republican Party.
So you spoke with independents who signed sworn affidavits that said they went out to vote for you on election day, and yet Rockland County is saying that only 5 people voted for you. Yet in total.
Right. And I had 8 sworn affidavits from people who voted for me. And the orange line over there says, well, you could presume it was at least 9 because they clearly undercounted. I just didn't happen to find the other early voter. Right. But even if you don't do that, I have 8 sworn affidavits against 5 votes.
Okay, Diane, but it is just another 3 or 4 votes. This isn't going to overturn the election.
It's not going to prove that I won. So if you're saying almost double or whatever, it's way off. But now I want you to go to what happened in Rockland County in 2022 when I ran against Schumer.
Okay.
So this is election night, Rockland County. I have Sare, 6,212 votes.
You mean
5.8%.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, Rockland County. Now, next morning,
United States Senator Diane Sare, 282.
Right.
Wait, out of all districts?
Rockland County. So overnight, my vote went from 6,212 down to 282.
Whoa.
So there's a reason why I was suspicious in Rockland County that my vote might have been stolen.
Well, but wait, why? I don't understand. Why did this happen?
Well, we don't know.
But how do you lose 6,000 votes?
Well, I don't know. We have to ask the Rockland County Board of Elections. That's why I'm interested in getting a hand recount.
Look, Diane, I'm not saying you should be the senator right now. I don't think you got more votes than Chucky Schumer. Not that you didn't deserve it.
Right, of course.
You should be senator right now. But
Right.
what?
And what I discovered later, and they've all been massaged, so the figures don't line up, but it turned out that my vote had been exactly swapped with the blank vote. Now, you notice this woman says, and she was trounced by the blank voters in her video.
Yeah.
They swapped my vote because when I went the next day, because this was so very odd, and I said, could I get a time-stamped release of how each vote total came in?
Yeah.
And it was all already reversed. I never once had over 282 votes. Yeah. But what I noticed was the blank vote was 6,212. It was exactly what I had the night before. Yes. And then I checked and I discovered 40 counties where I had the exact identical vote to the blank vote, and it got switched.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
And the reason I decided to ask for people to get sworn affidavits is because my election lawyer said, you're not going to ever get a recount unless you actually have voters who can say their vote wasn't counted. But that is so time consuming to go and visit every single person who voted.
Yeah.
I just took a very tiny sample and said, to give you a sense, the first day I went door to door, I spoke with 6 independent voters and 3 of them had voted for me. That's 50% of the independent voters. And it was so fat. I said, okay, I can get at least a significant margin. So that's what we did.
Well, sure. I mean, then also they're claiming you only got 5 votes in Rockland County.
No, in my election district.
Wow. Yeah. So like, obviously you would just need to find more than 5 people who say they voted for you, which you did.
Right.
So,
right.
This clearly makes this is
right. And just to put a fine point on it, which also, if Rebecca, was that her name?
Yeah, sure.
Actually does research.
Mm-hmm. Who's not afraid to be wrong, by the way.
Right, which is very fortunate. And I hope that she would reach out.
That's a very platonic Larouchian.
Yes, it is very Larouchian.
Very Larouchian.
So I would hope she would reach out to me now that I am the president of the Larouche organization. She could reach out to me about this. I had to get 45,000 ballot signatures to get on the ballot. And in 2022, I turned in 68,000 signatures. And in 2024, I turned in 70,000 signatures, which also makes it a little peculiar that my vote was less than half of the number of signatures I turned in.
Yeah.
Now, can we watch some more of the video?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you to kind of like respond to some of this stuff.
Since she managed to find these 2 simply by going down her block and asking a few neighbors. Knock, knock. Hi, it's me, your neighbor, Diane, from 2 houses down. Here, I brought cookies. Hey, dumb question, but you voted for me in the last election, right? Yeah, of course. That's what I thought. Thank you. Oh, you're not just saying that to get me off your doorstep, right? You actually did. Okay. Yeah. Just checking. Okay. Thanks. My lawyer will be in touch.
Affidavits.
Right.
They could be tried.
Right. They could go to jail. I mean, they could be penalized seriously.
And this isn't hearsay. It's not you like just being like, you voted for me, right? Cool. All right, cool. I'm just going to tell the courts that you said that.
Right. No.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Let's keep going. Yeah, I wonder where she is getting this stuff from. Like, where is she sourcing this stuff from? Let me do my due diligence. Does she have her sources
Larouche. Now, I suspect that for at least a quarter of my viewers, that name is enough for you to let out a hearty laugh, go make a cup of coffee, and literally never think about this court case or this conspiracy theory again.
I don't know. I mean, for me, the only people who ever slander me for being a LaRoucheite are people who are old or somebody who's like under 40 gets excited about my campaign. And
then they go talk to someone who's old.
And then they're like, oh, LaRouche?
Or an FBI.
You know,
Right.
And then they lose their or an FBI agent. That's right. Yeah. So anyway, I wouldn't, you know what? No, I got no problem with anybody who watches or supports my campaign who's over 70. I apologize. You're right. But anyway, you know, let me rephrase that. I wouldn't be proud to say that 25% of my audience is FBI agents. Right?
Right.
Great. Here we go. See, you know, so if you have a bad connotation of LaRouche, you are an FBI agent.
That's not so nice either, Jose. They're about as rigorous with their research as this woman is.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good.
For the rest of you, let me tell you who Lyndon Larouche was.
And is it Wikipedia?
Who understood, even before most Republicans, that you don't need to have a lot of voters on your side if you have shit tons of money and questionable integrity.
Because that really makes me angry.
Why?
LaRouche doesn't have shit tons of money.
Yeah, I know.
And actually, in one of the cases, the judge had to tell them to stop saying it because the Myra Lansky Boland of the Anti-Defamation League, who was involved in prosecuting LaRouche Associates, tried to claim that we had stolen $30 million.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He had switched over to the far right and built a cult around enacting violence upon leftist groups, possibly because he was a paranoid lunatic who fell for FBI propaganda that claimed leftist leaders were secretly CIA agents and informants. For instance, in 1973, he launched Operation Mopup, convincing his followers to find communist groups and beat the shit out of them with nunchucks. Yeah, nunchucks. Also bats and stuff, but nunchucks.
Go for it.
No, I don't want
use
people
your
to see
use
my
your LaRouche
technique.
training.
No.
Use your LaRouche boxing training. Go ahead. Why do you think we have these here? So we can train our new recruits to go and kick ass?
So I've met so many people who talk to me about how we beat them up. Now, even me, when this happened, I guess it was 73.
73.
So now people are going to know how old I am. I was 7 years old.
In 1973? You were 7 years old in 1973?
I know. I'm ancient. But I was not...
You were beating up people at 7 years old, Diane?
Yes, with nunchucks. I was highly trained. And actually, what happened, we found out through a FOIA request that the FBI actually did have a policy of infiltrating the CPUSA.
The Communist Party of the United States of America, yeah.
Yes, to eliminate LaRouche.
Interesting.
Now, they used his pen name at the time, Lynn Marcus, but that was in a FOIA request. And indeed, my understanding from older LaRouche associates is that the Communist Party would routinely visit our deployments at plant gates, and this was all over the U.S., in Detroit and New York, everywhere, and beat the crap out of our people.
Wait, so the FBI infiltrated CPUSA and would instigate fights with you guys?
Yes. That's what happened. And so LaRouche, Lynn, there was a decision. It was called Operation Mopup to put a stop to this by fighting back.
God.
In the 70s, everyone was beating up everyone. I mean, that happened all the time. So the fact that people fought back once means that we were running around searching out communists to beat the crap out of them. That just is ridiculous.
So Mop-Up is not the story that has become the myth.
It was a one-off to put a stop to the physical assaults on our organizers.
You know how old I was when Mop-Up happened?
How old was your mother? Was she born yet?
I think my mom was 10.
Okay.
My mom was 10. Yeah, you're almost my mom's age. You're 3 years younger than my mom. And my dad was 7. Oh, you're my dad's age.
Yes, but you are responsible for that.
But I'm responsible for that. That's right. Because I guess because I'm associated with this organization.
Right.
So, you know, I'm sorry I beat up communists in 1973. I apologize. And, you know, and I guess I'll just put this here too. Like, you know, people want to talk about stuff that happened, what is that, 50 years ago, 52 years ago? 52 years ago. 52 years ago. Like, I came around because of the nonviolence stuff that we were doing. I was on a stage with Dr. Bernard Lafayette, one of Dr. King's lieutenants. And we've worked with people like Sylvia Olden Lee. We worked with people like Amelia Boynton Robinson, who was a civil rights icon and a legend. And I mean, we've worked with people who, from the nonviolent movements of the civil rights, you know, all over the 80s and 90s up until they passed away. You know, for somebody who's like such a serious researcher, you know, and for the people who just write slanderous articles about our organization, period, even if you believe that in 1973 we were like missiles seeking out anyone who was even remotely close to a leftist and just kicking the shit out of them, wouldn't you have to acknowledge, well, there must have been a change here, because then suddenly they recruited people like Amelia Boynton Robinson to their board, right? She was on the Schiller Institute board, or wasn't she like a vice president or something?
Yes.
And she wrote a whole book, Bridge Across Jordan, not just about her affiliation with the Schiller Institute and the LaRouche organization, but just, you know, just overall working, you know, as a civil rights figure and being an activist. So, I mean, you know,
you'd also think that someone who was so willing to challenge her biases and admit she was wrong might be very happy if someone was formerly a rabid leftist and then a rabid fascist, and then that they changed their mind. But of course that didn't happen, but nonetheless, you would be forgiving. But I do want to say what did happen in 1971.
Yeah.
Which was that Lyndon LaRouche was asserting that the policies of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank were fascist.
Mm-hmm.
And he was likening them to the fascist policies of Hjalmar Schacht, Brooklyn, German, Hitler's finance minister, Hitler's economics minister.
Yeah.
And what happened in 1971 was that Lyndon LaRouche had a debate with Abba Lerner at Queens College, a renowned economist, on this question. And what happened in the debate is that Abba Lerner ended up blurting out, if Hjalmar Schacht had been listened to, Hitler would not have been necessary. So you have a Keynesian economist admitting that his model necessitated Adolf Hitler, proving LaRouche was right. And at that debate, LaRouche was told, okay, you may have won the debate, but you've lost because no one will ever debate you again.
Well, you know, I guess, is this real? Or are you making this up?
There's a recording of it.
Oh, yeah, that was a leading question. I know there's a recording of this debate, and it's a very good debate. Actually, I think people should definitely check that out if they want to know the truth. And just things about Lyndon LaRouche. I mean, people should also just read his stuff directly.
What?
Yeah. You know.
Or watch a video of one of his speeches.
Oh, yeah, or that too. There's tons of it. So is there more of this video we wanted to watch?
Just watch a little because it's fun.
Okay, great. Yeah, I agree with you.
He and his supporters went to prison in the mid-'80s for mail fraud, conspiracy to commit mail fraud, and tax evasion. A KKK leader once called him a racist, complimentary.
So Ramsey Clark,
Mm-hmm.
who was Attorney General under Lyndon Johnson, and who actually participated in the reenactment of the Selma to Montgomery March after Bloody Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So very much part of the civil rights laws and so on, as Attorney General, came to the LaRouche movement on the appeal of the case. I had just come around when LaRouche was on trial, and actually with my Quaker background and knowing all the abolitionists spent a lot of time in prison, when I saw they were going after LaRouche, I thought he must really be doing something right.
Mm.
So that was one of the reasons why I
became you joined as he was getting charged with all these mail frauds, all these
Yes.
bullshit charges.
Yes. But at any rate, so Ramsey Clark was watching all this from afar.
Mhm.
And then somehow we were in touch with him, or he got in touch with us, and he became the attorney on the appeal because he said, I see what you are. You are book people. You're just publishing all of these solutions for problems. And this man has run for president. At that time, he had run 4 times for president. We had a combined total of over 250,000 subscribers to our publications.
Yes. Yeah.
And he said, and the government shut down all of our publications except for Executive Intelligence Review. Fusion magazine, War on Drugs, which was not what Biden meant by war on drugs. It was going after the banks. Just have to say that for the record. Fusion, War on Drugs, New Solidarity, the newspaper, all were shut down by the government. Declared involuntarily bankrupt in a case which was later overturned by a federal bankruptcy judge as fraud on the court. So Ramsey Clark, looking at all this and seeing the number of people who were getting sentences from 3, 10, 36, 77 years, LaRouche given a 15-year sentence, and Ramsey Clark said, this is a precedent-setting political case. And he later said, I have never seen, in a letter to Attorney General Reno later, that he had never seen such a broad range of long-term coordinated systemic misconduct as he saw in the case against LaRouche.
Wow.
And that's on the record, that letter. In fact, you could Google it. Rebecca, you could Google it.
And he has inspired far-right fascist groups that continue to operate around the world today.
Wait, like who? Like who? Honestly, I wish I like who?
I don't know.
Who is inspired? Who is a far, like, if you can actually point to a far right organization that to this day it's like, oh no, it was Lyndon Larouche that made us racist and anti-Semitic, and we want
inspired far right fascist groups all over the world,
like the Svoboda political party in Ukraine.
Svoboda,
yeah, right.
And of course, one of those countries is the United States, where he inspired Diane Sare to represent what the New Republic in 2019 called one of the country's most successful homegrown fascist movements in running for Senate against Chuck Schumer, declaring her main qualification to be her 32-year association with the greatest economist and statesman the United States has yet produced, the late Lyndon H. LaRouche Jr.
So I appreciate that because that's true. I did say that.
You did say that because you're brainwashed.
Right.
That's what she alleges that.
But I said it, and you know what? I still admit that I said it.
You still believe that?
Yeah, and the video.
But
is still available
Diane,
online.
he's been dead for 6 years now, so you don't need to. He has no dominion over you anymore.
Yeah, but guess what? Like J.S. Bach, he's still right.
And so it was inevitable that she would run again in 2024, and with no hope of winning, what was her goal exactly?
Yeah.
Because I do want to say what my goal was to make sure we didn't end up in a nuclear war.
That's a good guess, Diane, as to what your motivations are. But I want to know what she thinks.
And I appreciate this because she plays something I actually said. And let's watch it because I actually think it was pretty good.
And what was the goal of challenging the election results? One can only guess, but considering that she did upload this video celebrating Kamala Harris's loss to Trump, I think we can safely say that she isn't truly concerned that Trump and Elon Musk rigged the election so Harris would lose.
Hello, everybody. It is November 6th. Indeed, a very historic day after the election yesterday, which happily was not close. Or not that close. We know the results. We know that Kamala Harris, otherwise known as Liz and Dick Cheney, puppet of the British Empire and the neocons, was defeated, and that we have an incoming president, Donald Trump, who has promised to end the forever wars and who has a rather interesting coalition with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and others.
And considering that in that same video, she complains that the U.S. electoral system silences fringe candidates like herself, I feel pretty confident in stating my opinion that she is cynically jumping on board Blue Anon's conspiracy train in the hopes that it will elevate the LaRouche cult to the national stage where they can finally be taken seriously, win elections, and get a starring role in the current fascist takeover that they laid the groundwork for 60 years ago.
First of all, I would never refer to myself as a fringe candidate.
That's right.
Second of all, happily, I didn't say that Trump is going to end the forever wars. I said he said he is. That's right. He said he would do it. And I think
he's doing a pretty terrible job right now. As of June 28th in the year of our Lord 2025, in the year of Jubilee, he is doing a very bad job.
Correct.
So
he is not ending the forever wars, and we are in danger thanks to whatever it is going on there. But I feel confident in saying that had Kamala Harris been elected, we might already have been in a nuclear war, in which case poor Rebecca would not have been able to do that video.
The video, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So is there more you wanted to?
No, that's fine. I like that statement. I'd like to thank you, Rebecca, for playing it.
Yeah. Okay, great. If you want to see, by the way, I have on my channel my thoughts post-election, where my friend Robert Castle and I were making fun of a video that came out. Maybe you saw this. It was all the Kamala Harris advisors talking about why we lost. And they were asked directly, hey, did you think that campaigning with Liz Cheney was like not a good idea? And they said, well, no. Everybody who wasn't going to vote for us was already complaining about that. So we just thought, who cares? Wow. You know? That was basically what they said.
Yeah, because they care so much about their voters.
Right. They were like, we were trying to win over some of the more moderate Dems, let them know we're still bloodthirsty warmongers, and just couldn't swing it.
Right.
Just couldn't swing it. So anyway, if you want to see that, you can definitely check that out here. Digitally imposing that here. And thank you for joining me, Diane. Hopefully we can get this out to Rebecca soon, and maybe this will allow her to pursue more inquiries into being wrong.
Right.
It's good. It's a platonic approach to be wrong. You should be okay with being wrong. I agree with her on that, and hopefully we can take it from there.
In fact, I just want to say, well, I wasn't wrong because I just said Trump promised, but I did hope that he would end forever wars, and then that turned out to be wrong.
Yeah, I think, I guess if we're standing on our soapbox here, we should not recriminate people, for thinking that there might have been some hope. Like, hey, maybe this could be the end. And then you could say, you fell for it again. You're stupid. You thought maybe you could say it. Maybe you might be right. But at the same time, it's like, hey, that person just wanted something different, So
right.
Anyway, thanks. We'll see you again whenever we do this again.